6:30 this morning, actually. They wanted to get out of this casual it's a standoff.
Hey Jay Wilson, so we got a standoff here. This guy supposedly has his arm with a gun. They pushed me back a couple of times, forced around the block. Here I am. Actually, I have a better view now. So supposedly this guy is armed with a gun and there's a standoff. It's hard to see him. If you look at that sign where that little green thing is in the window, what's up, Richard? The suspect is right against that window. They're trying to, initially he was in a tent, but he's out of the tent now, so there's a standoff. Like I said, supposedly has a gun, who knows? I'm not gonna do too much talking because then they'll push me back further. So I'm just gonna kind of watch. What's up, Mitch? Yeah, that's the suspect right there. In the white hoodie.
Oh,
gonna be a little shaky, guys. Like I said, I'm not talking too much because if this guy has a gun, they'll push me back further. So I'm just gonna kind of sit back and watch. But it's the guy right there. Here, let me zoom in. This guy right here in the white sweatshirt, who supposedly has a gun. We'll see. As usual, I was out jogging and I bumped into this. Standing out here soaking wet, freezing, watching this. I mean, I'm not freezing. It's Southern California. I can whine. It's a beautiful morning. I'd say this has been going on now for about 40 minutes. And here's the thing. In about 30 minutes, I have to leave here because I have to go to court. Well, I have to do a telephonic hearing for court because the LAPD is trying to charge me with eavesdropping on my own conversation with the LAPD, which is sort of amusing. I'm having a hearing with the city attorney because the LAPD says when I called up, see, I got a letter from Michael Moore saying he threw out a complaint that was fully documented. He said if I had any questions, call up the complaint supervisor at this number. I called that officer up at the station, the complaint supervisor, and I recorded it. They're now saying since I recorded that conversation where this guy said a bunch of shit he should never have said, that I was eavesdropping on my own conversation. So it's just the funniest shit. So there is a two-way consent in California as far as recording. You need both parties to know or need to have consent to recording. But there are exceptions. Well, first off, in Reynolds versus San Francisco, it said that an officer has no expectation of privacy when making a phone call in the office. So that's one. So it's end of conversation right there. But secondly, there's an exception that says if one of the parties has a reasonable expectation that they may be taping you, then that's an exception. And I gotta tell you, my name is Film the Police LA. There's a reasonable expectation that I would be filming or recording the police. So I look forward to fighting this one. I'm gonna tell him to suck my dick. But yeah, so I was out jogging, I ran into this bullshit. I don't know what's going on. Supposedly this guy has a gun. I do wish he complied because these assholes, I've seen him shoot too many people. I remember one time this officer, he arrested me and 5 days later accidentally shot somebody right 2 blocks away from here. Yeah, I'm gonna record everything. You're right. They know I record everything. Therefore, it's a reasonable expectation that I'm recording, right? Simple enough.
They did approach him, and then he went to stand, and then they basically just backed off. And so that's not what's going on. Yeah. I guess he was sitting in front of the other gate over there. Yeah, you really going there also. Yeah.
All right, is he putting his hands up, or is he complying, or is he? All right.
Hey, I don't know if you got him yet before. This one's one off here. Okay, so you're used to it. Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Mind my shakiness. I was out here
Yeah.
jogging and stuff, so it's like
Yeah. Size of it. Yeah, exactly. But
sweaty and I'm cold, and it's hard to hold the camera straight when you're zooming.
If it's just one, like 2 lanes, one direction, it's hard. You got to give yourself an angle. Oh yeah, for sure. So it's just getting used to that. Yeah, that's cool, man. All right, now you have a good one.
I'm gonna go to my car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get my car. I think I got a couple minutes.
Yeah. Where were you? Where are you parked at?
The Mel's.
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
trying to. I don't know. Oh, they got the green light on them. The laser keeps on. Oh, is that? No, that's whatever he's got around his neck. I mean, he's got his hands behind his head. What is he supposed to do now? It's like he's popped up in the middle of the tent. Is he supposed to walk out of there? I don't understand. He's in the center of the tent. I don't understand why they don't just go and handcuff him. He seems like he's complying. I mean, he literally has his hands behind his head. He's standing there. What are we waiting for? I don't know why they don't just come up and just handcuff him. I mean, what are you waiting for? It's like they're gonna wait for his arms to get tired where he can no longer hold his hands up. Come on, man. Just like, okay, he's got his hands behind his head. What can he do? He's literally popped up in the center of the tent. Unless he's behind it. All right, I'm gonna zoom out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to mind my shakiness. I'm gonna do a court hearing standing right here. Streets of LA, I agree, man. It's like, hey, wait till his arms are too tired. Then he drops his hands, claim he was reaching. I mean, I don't know how much longer he's got his hands behind his head. Like, don't you walk up behind him, put one cuff on one hand, put it down to the side, and then bring the other hand down and cuff him up, and then figure out how to get him out the hell out of the tent? I don't understand it. I think they're waiting for him to completely jump out of the tent. They're saying, they keep on screaming to him to keep his hands up. Keep your hands up until you can't keep your hands up any longer. Oh, I'll be honest with you, my arms are tired just holding my hands here, holding this phone. Oh man. So if I'm late for my court hearing, I don't care. They'll put a warrant out for my arrest. They can arrest me right here on the spot. What's up, John Smith? I really have no idea what they're waiting on. They got this one cop over here. He's on the phone. They always got somebody on the phone. Who are they calling? back to headquarters to get advice on what to do. They got like 15 cops here. Let me get a different angle to show you how many cops. And then for blocks around here, they got cops staged. So apparently there's somebody in a tent over there who apparently has a weapon. What kind of weapon? I don't know.
How long have you been here?
An hour or so.
Really?
Mm.
So it's kind of a standoff with the...
It's been going on apparently for 2 hours, so since 6:30.
So basically what we know is that there's a guy in the...
Oh, there's a guy right there with his hands behind his head. He's been standing with his hands behind the head for the last 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. I mean, look at this, man. Hands behind your head. Okay, he's got his hands behind his head. How long is he going to keep his hands behind the head? I don't understand what he's supposed to do at this point. Lay down?
In their defense, for the longest time. I gotta get it. Pretty often if I say, I wasn't, no one was sure what it was. Oh yeah, they were saying they had rubber bullets. You were telling them they're gonna light them up. Hands over his head since 6:30. I'm not even joking.
Sirs, can you have you guys go inside underneath the paper?
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's just some guy just was in front of the gate right there, Lieutenant Vision. Told him to move, got into some altercation. Cop showed up, and he's in his tent. They tell him to get out. He gets out halfway, and that's as far as his feet go. It's been like that since 6:30. Yeah.
Do you know anything about him having a weapon?
I mean, I don't personally know because he's never got away from his tent, so who knows? I mean, who knows?
This guy's saying he has a weapon.
I mean, it's possible. They were mentioning something about a weapon.
There's no evidence of a weapon.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's a homeless guy in a tent.
This is just literally a police response because this homeless guy got in an altercation with a security guard.
Well, one cop was here. He asked him to get away from his tent, and he just wouldn't. So, in the cop's defense, he was behind some barrier, refusing to get from behind it.
They lost a lawsuit because of escalating violence. The homeless guy. It was like, $10, $20, $30 billion. And so they are so sensitive. The police are so sensitive about escalating.
Yeah. Well,
That's why I asked at that tone in my voice, because I manage property here.
Okay.
They don't know what the rules are to deal with homeless people who say no.
No, it's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It used to be if you say no, man, I could throw you up against the wall, cuff you, and take you in.
Yeah, they haven't done that to him. They were all the way up to his tent with some force, and they did have like a blocker and everything, and he...
A blocker?
Well, like they had some shield they were standing behind.
Got it.
And he got in his tent, and they just backed away. And that's kind of what's been going on ever since.
That's why I'm so amazed, because what I think is maybe going on is so far from here.
I mean,
My interaction with homeless and the police over the last 25 years I've been doing this.
I mean, he's got his hands behind his head. He's had his hands behind his head for...
I understand, but if he doesn't come in...
I'm
know what I'm
talking,
saying.
he's had his hands behind his head since
They need to walk
6:30.
up behind him, put a cuff on him, and get it on with.
Oh, shit.
It's
Well,
like...
that's what would seem to be the situation, but that's what I mean, if that's all that's going on.
doesn't seem to have a gun, they should just come up behind him right now. Basically put him in.
This may be we have to talk him into compliance or.
He's complying right now. He's got his hands behind his head.
Right, but
Yeah.
they got to take him in. So for
Take
all
him
I
in.
know, they
What do you
literally
even
don't
do?
know what to do now.
Can't even do shit.
Well,
I've seen this too.
He did have an altercation.
An altercation, was that like a fight or an argument?
I'm not sure.
This is Selma McCaden. There's always an altercation over here.
Bro, like, this is necessary.
My guess would be that somebody had to touch somebody.
Yeah.
What generally happens is somebody gets in an argument and because they want the cops to come out, so they make up some bullshit. He may have had a weapon
For
when they
sure.
called in.
Yeah.
They come out here code 3 with their guns pulled, and this is where it ended up like this. But my thing is what we have. So we have all these cops here, but then you have cops shutting down over there, and over here. That's a lot of resources being used.
Well, that's what
Oh,
I'm getting at.
Oh,
is that
yeah.
what is precipitating this level? I have never seen this.
Well, I'm surprised we don't have the helicopter out here. Usually there's a helicopter out
Yeah, well, there was earlier.
here, where you can't hear any orders at
Yeah.
that point.
There was earlier. I'm surprised they ain't got a dog out, honestly.
But in fairness, what used to happen is that, in fairness, if somebody said, if the police said you do this and you don't do it, they're allowed to go to step 2.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, I have seen the same situation like this,
Uh-huh.
and they still used a 44 millimeter foam bullet on him and hit him in his
When?
back.
When?
A few months ago, 3 months ago.
3?
Yeah.
Because they lost a lawsuit in the last year.
I watched that happen
Well,
right in
they
front of my
ain't-
face.
They ain't using any
I taped it.
dumb bullet here.
Well, they were threatening him with a rubber bullet.
Yeah, rubber bullet or a beanbag.
Yeah.
But I mean, he has his hands behind his head. I just don't know what you're supposed to. He's popped up out of the center of the tent. It's not like he could just hop up out of where he's at.
Above his head.
Walk up behind him, handcuff him, and take it from there.
I thought he was in there. Nah. Even when he was in his tent, he had his hands up.
Hey, Sean, you over here? Maybe. I don't know. You see him right there with his hands behind
I
his head?
guess they, once he's in his tent.
Well, that's the other thing. They lost a lawsuit on that.
Here, take the shot. Okay.
Because of moving somebody's
You got it.
property.
He's been in that position now for about 20-something minutes with his hands behind his head,
Because it was a mess.
and they just refuse to take him into
They
custody.
inadvertently threw out his prescription drugs, and he almost
had
died or did die.
Some altercation.
I mean, I just don't understand. At a certain point, don't you just walk up behind him and cuff him?
They called the cops.
They're like standing around like, I don't know what to do.
Cop shows up, tells him,
What do I do?
they said you get out of your tent, so I need you.
They don't have rules. They need rules, man. You got to tell me what to do.
So the cops showed up. They've been having that gun point ever since.
To leave my boy alone.
I don't know what it is.
Let me be in the chair.
All right, they leave. That's the move. You just wait out the cops from now on. Just gotta get a tent.
Well, and then they just had that incident with the guy who was sighted around here with an axe.
Said he has an axe.
No. There was a homeless guy sighted around here with an axe who then shows up and stabs a woman at a furniture store. So, I mean, this is not an easy... It's not an easy problem to police homeless people or any people.
For sure.
People are fucking nuts. We're nuts.
Chris, how you feeling, man?
Oh, come on now, just if you're gonna take him into custody, get on with it. How much longer can you just stand in that position? My arms are getting tired just holding the phone.
So it's been like this for like 20 minutes?
Well, the standoff is going on for 2 hours. It's been at this position with his hands behind his head for a minimum of 20 minutes. Or right around 20 minutes at least. He's been standing out of the tent for 45 minutes to an hour. I don't know that. The only thing we know is he had an argument with security guard, or supposedly. Cops came, he retreated to his tent. They approached the tent with less lethal shields, and then they backed off, and then they've been standing here. So this has been now 2 hours. So he's standing up in the center of the tent, right? So he's got his hands behind the head. I don't know what he can do from there. Does he have to just vertically leap 3.5, 4 feet out of the tent with his hands behind his head? Come on, who has some handcuffs? Let's just go take care of this for them.
You gotta leave out of here.
I have a sneaking suspicion there's a lot of that going on, but I don't know. Maybe he did have it.
Whatever he has right now, it's the time. At some point you got to take him into custody, and he's.
If they go over to him literally right now, if they go over to him and he gets violent, they do not have a next course of action. That's my understanding. They are so afraid to escalate violence right now, specifically with a homeless person. They literally have to talk him down to willingly comply. That's my understanding. And it's possible that this is what.
He's complying. At some point, they have to do their job and take him
but
into
it's their
custody.
job.
Take him into custody. At some point, there's no. Where do you go from here?
That's my. And I don't know this.
I do know this. They walk over and they handcuff him. That's what you do.
No. What I'm saying is I don't know this for sure, but I think that right now it is quite possible they don't know what to do at this point, because if they go touch him and he gets violent, it used to be you do necessary force.
And it's still the same. That law hasn't changed.
That's not my understanding.
The understanding is if somebody uses any sort of force against you, the officer has the right to protect themselves and use force.
They have to do everything they can to de-escalate.
Well, they've done it. The guy has his hands behind his back.
Again, I don't know. I just know that.
All I know is this isn't it.
Well, it's a lot of our taxpayer money, that's for sure.
This is in Hollywood on Selma, north of McCaden.
They've been here since 6:30.
Rummy, pretty much.
Alright, cool. Everything's good. Oh no, you guys are going over to the schoolhouse.
It's wonderful. I got court in 23 minutes. And I'm gonna do it right here. Let me start preparing, guys. I'm gonna be a little wobbly. I have to look on my other phone.
Are you live?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was running out of space on the phone, so I was like, I gotta look around for a phone number. Yeah, it was a good spot. I don't know. He's got his hands on his head. I just don't know what more he's supposed to. Where we go from here? I feel like we'll come back an hour from now and we'll still be in the same spot.
So as far as weapons go, I'm only seeing less lethal on the right. For sure drawn
Shit ain't going away.
I've seen
right now.
He ain't gonna go out. And I was like, what? They should have already went up and got
I've seen everything except for rifles.
2 hours.
Handguns. I don't see any drawn right now.
Bro, police officer shit must be fucking fast as shit.
I don't know what the protocol is from here, but he's got his hands behind his head.
I just can't see it any other way. Right?
Yeah, hey man, I'm bored. You just go back. Sorry to bother you.
You laugh. I saw there was a guy on top of a store over in East Hollywood, and they were trying to talk him down, and they were out there for about 45 minutes. And eventually the cops just left.
Really?
And they left him on top of the store.
And the watch commander probably came out and said, well, went down his check sheet and said, we're not liable, let's go. We did everything we could.
It came down, somebody gave him $20.
Is that true?
It's a true story.
Yeah, I believe that last part. I've seen that over and over again. But again, they can't do that. They can't answer.
I will give him $20 right now if he comes out.
I don't think you could get close enough, but that would not be a bad thing.
got like all 3-story. Really good.
But none of those police have weapons drawn, is that correct?
Watchtower.
As of right now, no.
That's not correct. So somebody up there has their two hands on a gun pointed at the earth.
Do y'all know the person who lives over there?
Lives over where, I'm sorry?
Over in that tent?
No,
Are
I
y'all
don't
his
know.
neighbors? Okay, never mind. Y'all know the person who lives over there?
Lives over where?
In that tent over there. No? Okay.
That tent's new.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which doesn't mean anything to me. He could have been tenting up the street. He could have been tenting here. I don't recognize him.
Okay. Thanks.
Huh?
Are you from a outreach program, Circle? Or?
No, I'm not with Circle. I'm with the group called Street Watch. We usually monitor on Wednesdays over here because sanitation comes by and
I thought that
does
was
their
Circle who
streets.
was handling that.
No, Circle works with the city. I don't work with the city.
Who do you work with?
I'm a volunteer.
For Street
I'm a-
Watch? Is
yeah,
it
I'm a
private?
neighbor. Hi.
Hi.
What was that?
I've been here 23 years and managing. I've never seen you or Street Watch. What is Street Watch?
Oh, we come out to the sweeps and
Oh, you do?
yeah, we come out to the sweeps and monitor and help people with what they need. If they need help
Who
moving,
funds
we
you?
help them.
Who are you
Not the
associated
city.
with?
Yeah, I think on Sunset, you
We
can
fund ourselves.
Okay, I've been out here, for, as I say, they've had the rule about street cleaning on this street
Right.
all the way up here for about 5 years.
Right.
I've been out here a dozen times. I've never seen Street Watch. That's
Oh,
all
really?
I'm asking.
Okay.
Doesn't mean anything. I've never seen Street Watch. I have to deal with the homeless all the time. Yeah, really. It's like, yo, man. What's going on here? There's, I can tell, this action's been going on for about 2.5 hours. That gentleman there is a homeless guy associated with that tent and got in an altercation with a security guard apparently, but I don't know for sure. At the gate to the Sony lot, police were called, and it's been escalating ever since. Yeah.
All right, guys. I realize I won't be able to do this here because I won't have what I need and I have to talk to my lawyer. So I'm gonna have to break this off because I have to do this court hearing and I don't have enough charge on both phones. Let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can make this work.
Have a good day.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to keep
Sure, it's gonna be pretty uneventful. This thing today is your opportunity to get some good shots. I got house is fucking awesome. Make sure you get some shots there. Where you going? Perfect. We were talking about that shit. Remember? All right, cool. You got everything. Gonna be coming out. Got it.
I'm gonna leave here in 4 minutes. It will be.
You with Damien?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, dude.
He's on the way, trying to get over here.
Oh, he's not here yet? Yeah, I figured we all get stuck a little bit. Mine was a badge. Going through the theater.
Oh, that's it, huh?
Yeah. Or Lost Promise, whatever that is. The light. But yeah, back there.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna run to my house. I'm gonna grab a battery pack.
Gosh. I thought that was Damien at first. When I got here.
Huh?
Yeah. So I was like, no way.
I'll go get one. I'm gonna grab a battery pack. I'm gonna do my court hearing right here. All right, guys, I'll be right back. I'm just running to my house to get a battery pack. I'm gonna do my court hearing right here.
Everybody roll out.